back to HoloNet Marauders Book Club. We have a few special guests this week with us as well. So we have Scott and Kendra joining us as well. They're comic aficionados and Star Wars fans. You've seen them before. And then also Matt and Levi are here. AJ is not here today. I will not actually be here today for this episode as well because I didn't prep for it and I need to go build my Marauder Lego actually. So that's a little more important to me. So I'm just going to say today we're covering, I'm not covering, but everyone else here is recovering.
You're recovering right now. I'll tell you that much.
It's been rough to prep for this one, and I'm not even in it. We're covering today's Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 15 and 4-LOM and Zuckuss number 1, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Number 1? There you go.
It's a one-shot.
Yeah, it's a War of the Bounty Hunters one-shot.
War of the Bounty Hunters episode, and well, that's it. That's what's happening today. I the only thing I gotta say is Deathstick showed back up again, right?
He did.
Yes.
I was very happy to see that. Otherwise, and Canto Bite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
You could stick around. You could hold your own here.
No,
that
is all I know. I don't want to.
You could give us deep thoughts on Deathstick.
Yeah.
Deep Deathstick thoughts.
I don't have the deep thoughts yet. I have deep thoughts, but not about Deathstick.
You're still thinking in bricks.
Yeah.
I am thinking in bricks. I have deep thoughts about the Marauder Lego, honestly. So I'm gonna go and do that. Anyway, have fun with book club, guys. Goodbye.
Have fun with your Lego.
Goodbye.
Hi, Jamie. And then there are 4.
And then there are 4. What an odd bunch. All right.
Let's get down to brass tacks.
So this is the Bad Batch.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you guys think Deathstick sounds like?
Night Sister.
You think?
Don't we know? Isn't she
like,
in the game? Like, is there no? I feel like I've heard her voice before.
They don't talk in Uprising. They didn't say anything.
They didn't have a single. I feel like there's a trailer though, like a cinematic trailer.
I don't think there was any voice work for that.
No.
Sometimes RPGs do like that weird grunt when you like click on somebody where they're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, there was like
until there's like an audiobook, we're just not gonna know.
I imagine a Night Sister.
So that's the okay. I guess I can see that.
There's some sort of reverb happening there.
Yeah,
or something.
I guess I pictured like a vocalizer, like what Gregorians wear.
I can see that. All right. So diving into Bounty Hunters 15 now. We already started off with a deep discussion.
The one where Dengar and Valence kills a Kowakian monkey lizard wearing a clown costume.
Thank God.
That happened.
Yeah, they have fully embraced the slapstick humor in the War of the Bounty Hunters arc.
These particularly the one-shots, this one-shot and the Bounty Hunters run has just become like buddy cop comedy, and I'm loving it.
Absolutely.
Well, at Dengar, it's funny, even going back to the Clone Wars, the episode on the train with young Boba, like Dengar was the comic relief, right? Like
he's always going to screw up.
Yeah, like falling off the train and all kinds of stuff. Like I mean, he was kind of the comic relief all the way back then. So
what a goofball that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Dengar at this point, his motivation. So this is all set before. Honestly, it's set before issue 1 of War of the Bounty Hunters, like the main line. Still, I think we're still catching up with the Bounty Hunters tie-ins. So Dengar is being motivated by the love of his life, Manaru from the Legends novels, the Bounty Hunter Wars Legends novels. I believe she's in that. She's like mentioned in that, and they brought her back in canon. Jabba's got her, and got a gun to her head, and so Dengar wants to make some money and pay off that debt, and then Valence wants to save Han Solo because Valence's story is enjoyable, but sometimes very confusing because the amount of changes they've done. It's very, I don't know, it's all over the place. But I love him, and he's going to save Han Solo because Han Solo saved him. And there you go. And
he's going to try real hard. I mean,
real hard.
Unfortunately, that ending has been spoiled. But
yeah,
we all know how that turns out. But you know,
I guess I really liked. I just want to point out, I really liked the scene where they get on the Star Tours transport and they sit
kills
down
the monkey lizard
for 2. Yeah, that's the scene where he kills the monkey lizard with the clown costume. And it's like 2 days. They have to sit there for 2 days.
Yeah,
it's very
like. Imagine being on a plane for 2 days.
I won't.
No, I wouldn't either. Like that.
A few hours is bad enough.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him for killing a monkey lizard. Where Where did they start? Nar Shaddaa. So Nar Shaddaa to Canto Bight is 2 days.
Well, in that low
In a
quality
Star Tours
in
vehicle.
yeah. Well, it's not even that quality of vehicle. Like the Star Tours, the Star Speeders are pretty good ships. These are definitely like
at Disney. We're up to the Star Speeder 3000. You
Yeah,
know, who knows
exactly.
what version this is?
This is the Star Speeder like 2.
yeah. It definitely not the fastest vehicle in the galaxy, but no, I thought it was interesting. I mean, it also gave them the opportunity to build the dynamic out for more Valence and Dengar discussion, etc. Like if they had to, like you said, have a buddy cop moment. Every good buddy cop movie has a long plane trip or a boat ride or a train ride or something where you have to like start talking about your past and your motivations.
Yeah, exactly. That's like a perfect way to put it. It's like they sit down somewhere and they like get to know each other. My porg went off. Sorry, I was moving him.
My porg went off.
I'm sorry.
All right.
But yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I never thought of that. But they always have some kind of, they're sitting in the car. They have to drive from one place to another. They have to talk about their pasts and stuff, and they get to know each other.
And somebody's always holding something back, which
Yep.
in this case is Dengar, although he's trying to tell him everything, and it just keeps going wrong.
Yeah, who knew that these characters, especially Dengar, was going to be so like sympathetic or like not necessarily just the villain. Like he has become, because I always forget that he's like his voice is Simon Pegg, and so it's like, cocky like Australian kind of thing, and it's pretty funny. It's funny.
So
I'm reading him.
Do you think he achieves his goals by the time he's Hrothgar Dang?
Oh yeah, tragic.
No.
Yeah, that is a dark end when you think about it. Like, oh man, he's staring down that barrel.
You only are comfortable doing that to yourself if the love of your life has died tragically.
Or she became an abomination as well.
Oh
And he
no!
was like, I should become an abomination.
What would her name be? Rue Mana?
Yeah.
I got him this time.
Gotta be Hrothgar Dang now.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I can see that. You know what? That's what I'm gonna say happened.
I mean, we should try and take it though. Reset here chronologically. So the comic opens with a character who's been pretty familiar for all the 2020 runs, General Vukora, who is the head of the Unbroken clan, or she's the de facto head. She's not actually the head yet. And Deathstick has shown up on Corellia to give her the invitation to the party on the Vermilion, which we've seen like in the issue with Afra. Afra points out that Vukora is there. So this is obviously taking place before that. And Deathstick is there looking cool. What's everyone's thoughts on Deathstick so far? I think she's pretty sweet.
Harpooning people in the throat, hanging out.
It's funny, when this line launched, I was like really excited about Diva Lompop. I thought that she was going to be like my new favorite and the new hotness. And then like Deathstick came out of nowhere, and I actually really enjoy her.
Yeah. I mean, I've already raved about the connection to Uprising before, so I won't get too much into that. But I just love how much they fleshed her out. But they've given her more to do, and I love that she's become like an actual character. Like a lot of the times when I look at the Uprising characters, I love them, but they're frozen in that game that I can no longer access, and so they almost feel dead. They almost feel gone.
Right.
That they never really existed, and it is a shame. But I love that Deathstick has gotten her own life. She's outside of the game now. She's in the world and doing things.
You know what they say? No one's ever really gone.
You're right. I want.
It's true, yeah.
I want Happy Dap to come back, please.
Happy Dap.
Not
Skippy the
post
droid?
Uprising, but before.
Skippy
Yes.
the Jedi droid.
Let's not go.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Maybe we can leave him. We can leave him.
So yeah, I'm not misreading this, right? Because that's the first scene, but in the second scene, he does like pop the head of this lizard, right?
Yeah, dude, he does something to the lizard.
Because you see in like this silhouetted one that he grabs it because it's like, for one, it's dressed like a clown.
Yep.
Which is just hilariously bizarre. And then he throws it back to the Ishitib guy. I think it's Ishitib, and it's all bloodied.
I mean, like, I guess if Salacious Crumb was kind of Jabba's court jester, so this person has just gone like full on let me dress my Kawaki monkey lizard in a clown costume. Just go that
For
one
2
step
days.
further, yeah, for 2 days.
Imagine a crying baby on a plane for 5 hours, or a Kowakian monkey lizard in your Star Cruiser for 2 days.
There's also this Thelan male who is following them in all of the frames. He's like center frame in the corner here. He's following them when they're going up the steps. You see him framed between Dengar, like looking at them, and I don't know who that is, but it's clearly someone that the artist is. We want to pay attention to them, and I don't know where that's going to go.
He's talking to somebody. It seems he's doing something. He's tracking them.
So that's just a little note.
No, that's a good observation because I actually didn't. I didn't even
pick up
notice
on
that.
Yeah, I didn't pick it up on the first time.
That's
either.
pretty funny.
Yeah, he's following them through the spaceship. But I mean, there's not much else to dig into. As you said, they're going to Canto Bite, and so next is, I believe, the Narkanji, which
Yes,
kanji
the
of,
fighting pits of Narkanji,
which I assume is Kanja Club related.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So way back in the episode with Luke Skywalker and when they go hunting for Boba Fett, the repainted, much like a Hasbro figure, Boba Fett by the name of Django. Yeah. So they talk about it's like the kanji commerce or something like that. I can't remember the exact name for it, but they don't actually come right out and call it Kanji Club. But then they say it's associated with the Hutts.
Yeah, I had originally assumed that it was Kanji the Hutt, and that was the criminal syndicate.
They had a club. It's like a fan club, maybe.
So now I'm wondering, like, is this Kanji Club? I mean, you got like the Tasu Leech connection, and yeah, it's interesting. Like, there's a lot we don't know about the criminal underworld, and obviously this is kind of fleshing things out a little bit. So, because all we've really known to this point is like, there was a couple of main syndicates.
Yeah, but we had like the big syndicates like this, and now they've gone to introduce some of the smaller ones like Whaling.
Mourner's Whale.
The Whale. Yes, thank you, Mourner's Whale. And the other one that they're fighting against. And I think that really is fleshing out the criminal underworld, and that's...
Well, those ones are specific to Corellia, but yeah. Those are like the Corellian gangs.
Yep.
But specific enough that they can get an invitation from Crimson Dawn.
True. They're pretty powerful.
Yeah, they must be important enough that Kira... Although, it would make sense when you think about it.
Because she's from Corellia.
Right, exactly, that Kira would have like firsthand knowledge of...
Although it might also
underworld.
just be part of Kira's plan that we don't know yet, because it seems like everybody and their mother was invited. Like, there's those people who Boba Fett jumped in issue 2 who are just like random. Like, they're just like, oh my god, I can't believe we're here.
So the White Worm's gonna show up?
Maybe so. I mean, we got Proxima in the latest Afro run.
Right.
Anyway, so they're on the pits of Narkanji, and Tonga and Losha are going to recruit a team of bounty hunters, and Tasu Leech they're coming to recruit Tasu Leech, and he's fighting the knife man. He has knife arms.
It's Rodrigo Battle, right?
Yeah. It's a good thing he brought his own knife arms, kind of.
Yeah, and he's shirtless, and it's pretty cool. And he chops off his arm, his knife arm. He chops off the knife arm, so not a real arm. And then wins a trophy, and then gets recruited. And I think that's pretty much what happens there.
How are we not talking about this guy's name? Rodrigo Battle. That's a great name.
No, it's not.
Yeah, no, it's not. I feel like.
Are you kidding? Rodrigo Battle?
That's what you came up with? Like, come on.
I mean, is it as good as, what was it, Skeletor?
Oh, that guy. And I liked how his head had already been obliterated, because I wanted to see if he had a skull head.
I don't remember Skelegor.
He's
one of the guys that Django blows up real fast.
Oh, yeah.
It was like there's
a bunch of panels.
Jimmy the Squid, or what was it?
Yeah, Jimmy the Squid. See, that's a better one. That is a better name.
Yeah, there were some really terrible names.
He's like a Corin. He's Jimmy the Squid.
He's dead, is what he is.
Yeah.
He's not dead. And I want to see him come back.
Oh yeah, look at this. There's a lot of good things in this art. I have it pulled up digitally. You see the Ishi Tib with his little, like, the corpse of the monkey lizard, like, shaking his fist.
Yeah, and he goes on.
Oh, no. Later in the Canto Bite frame.
You're kidding.
Yeah, look, he's like shaking his fist, and he's holding it. I see the little.
Some guy's like looks like he's holding him back or something.
Well, I think he's like cradling it. He's like, and every time we see Canto Bite, I just I cannot not hear the music of the
Yeah, oh yeah, dude.
like every time
Canto
it's
Bite
just
music is perfect, and they give us like the same shot and everything. Like it's beautiful.
yeah, I can't not hear that music. I don't care if
Yeah.
that music was probably composed like 30 years from now. I love it and I hear it.
Nah, man.
I do like that they brought a lot of aspects from the sequel trilogy like this in.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Tasu
and,
Leech
and some of
Canto
the other
Bite.
anthology films, the the Star Wars story films.
Mm.
The comics do a great job of implementing the new and the old, like
Yeah,
perfect.
agreed.
And this issue especially does it seamlessly, like just perfectly. In terms of like not bringing too much attention to it, just like Tasu Leech is here. Oh yeah, we're going to Canto Bite, and they've dropped Canto Bite seems to be like their favorite thing to reference. They talk
Yeah.
about Canto Bite all the time.
It's a great
in the
set
comics
piece.
and the shows.
It's just so much fun.
Right.
Yeah, like
and I think they've done a good job of doing it, but also not making Star Wars feel small. Like there's also new places, right? We've gone to new places, but then we're also referencing old places. So you're expanding the universe, adding to it, so us lore junkies can absorb it, but also referencing key touch points so that fans will be like, "Oh, I remember that from the film."
Yeah.
If you're not into all that, so it's good in that sense that they're doing both some
And-
new stuff and not making because I know there've been some complaints about if you keep referencing older things, you make the galaxy feel small. If you're only
Yeah.
going to the same 6 planets, right? Like it's a galaxy, it's supposed to feel big, but I think they've done a good job doing both.
And speaking of new, we revisit the 6th kin leader, Wen Delphus, who is like the coolest character design. She's like
That's
a
that's a spider lady. Yeah.
From I believe she first appeared in Afra. I want to say, well, because this issue is seemingly intersecting with when, because Ariel and Just Lucky are still here, which is like I think before War of the Bounty Hunters started, they were here and because they get assigned to kill their former master, and that's why they're going to the party. So we're crossing over with something that happened a few months ago,
right?
But we're catching up slowly. But they're there, and because they still are under the assumption that the bounty is on Boba, but that's all past now, and so when Delphus was going to kill them, but instead Valence sort of talks his way out of it and says, let's just go to the party because you're scared of Crimson Dawn, instead of killing them. She's like, all right, what am I going to lose? Go mess stuff up at the party. So I don't know. They must bust in like right after Vader gets there. And
can you imagine trying to upstage Darth Vader?
Oh, that's not gonna go well.
Like
He don't
Anakin,
handle that well.
King of the Entrance is not gonna like being upstaged.
I really like the fact that like right now the furthest point in the timeline for bounty hunters is like Vader's entrance to the ball.
Yeah.
And then right after that we're gonna get like them busting in. And that's gonna be that should be like the next big thing. Like it should just who walks through the door this time? Like, but Darth Vader being first, that's
in there though.
For everybody else
in this dialogue, though, they reference Dengar and the Weeway pirates and how he is bad at gambling, which is obviously referencing the Onaka gang and what was going on before War of the Bounty Hunters with the Bounty Hunters run, in which I can't remember the specific Weeway's name, but someone else has taken over Hondo's gang.
It's like Scrag or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And he is trying to kill Dengar because
actually, I think it's a woman.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's very funny. And so I like that. I like that was referenced because people keep just making fun of Dengar for being terrible.
Right.
But at the end, he's like, we'll get there. But he's like,
it's really funny.
I enjoy it. I snagged the invite off of Death Stick, which is fun.
So next up, we have the Grand Floating Sanctuary, and my favorite part of the comic, personally.
Yeah, we get to see Gut. This is like Last Jedi Luke Zuckuss.
Dude, Beer Gut Zuckuss. I'm down, dude.
I love him.
Zuckuss thanks for that. Yeah.
Lowest moment.
Are you kidding? He's chilling, dude. Look at him. He's just hanging out.
Look at this guy.
Nobody wants to see that. Put that away.
How often do we see Zuckuss without his mask?
Again, I didn't
almost
never.
Almost never.
Yeah,
So
you
like
almost never see Gand with them off. It's like
So
Keldor.
this was cool.
They're like
Yeah.
Keldor. Like you can't survive without them. So
It was cool to see him kind of, naked, quote unquote. He's got pants on, but his face was naked, which is interesting.
He's got beaked face. I don't think I've ever seen a Gand.
I don't
without
think
the
we
mask.
have in canon. I don't think we've seen a Gand with a mask off to this point. So
Do they have like 5 tongues or something? Like what's going on in his mouth? He's got like a beak, then he's got like a side beak, then he's got like one tongue, and then he's got like 5 more tongues.
I think he's got like mandibles.
Yeah, like
there's a lot going on there. That is some complex creature design.
Yeah, I have to admit it's very, very impressive, very cool. Is that what? So, do you remember any times they did that in Legends? Is it any different than Legends, or I would assume no, but
I don't think.
I
Yeah, I
can't
don't think
remember.
we've actually ever seen one before. This may be the first.
Yeah.
This is pretty big. This is groundbreaking.
Gand reveal.
This is good.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So yeah, so Tonga, Losha, and Tasu Leech show up to recruit Zuckuss because Zuckuss has had a falling out with 4-LOM. This takes place after the one shot. The one shot takes place right around the time of the alpha.
Right.
So there's that. And he's like, I'm done. My best friend tried to kill me. I'm sad. And she's like, hey, get with it. And Zuckuss says, Zuckuss is in. So now,
Yeah, his turnaround was pretty quick. Like he was looking for an excuse to get off his butt, get out there.
Yeah, it's honestly it's more like I think Endgame Thor than it is Last Jedi Luke. Like he's still ready to go. He's just like ah.
Yeah, I can see that. Though Last Jedi Luke
the right
turns
motivation. You just need
kind
the right
of early.
motivation.
You yelled at him. He's like, "Fine, I'll train you. Fine, I'll do this. Fine, I'll do that." Slowly, but
so yeah, and then we see Dengar's ship. We cut back to Canto Bight, the punishing
one,
which is fun.
Is that's not a new design, right?
No, that's a Legends design. It's been
do you know the name of the ship design? I feel like I heard it.
It has to have a name, yeah.
We saw IG-88's Legend ship. We've seen the Houndstooth in this. We've seen a lot of the old bounty hunter ships. I know for Bosk and IG-88 those had already been canonized, but it's still fun to see them all together, all the old bounty hunter ships.
Yeah,
which is cool.
It's a Jump Master 5000.
Sure, someone came up with that.
A Jump Master 5000.
It is canonically a Jump Master 5000.
We got the Star Cruiser 2000s. We got the Jump Master 5000s.
And Dengar sees it and says, if the Falcon could do the Kessel Run in 12, she could do it in 10. And I was like, yeah, okay, Dengar.
I believe him. Yeah. Why don't you believe him?
I don't know.
Because I know how the Kessel Run was done in 12.
Yeah.
I think Dengar.
Nobody wants to do that again.
Rounding down.
The giant, whatever it's called, is dead now. So
Summa Verminoth?
Yeah, the Summa Verminoth.
Yeah, the thing that Vader can just kill for funsies.
Yeah, it's fine. It's dead. So now you can do the Kessel Run in 1 parsec. Really,
one. Wow.
Yeah, I could do it in 1. I'm just saying.
In 1 mile.
Yeah, there you go.
Like that's fascinating. I, for one, though, we're talking about ships, really like Valence's ship, the Broken Wing. I think that is a really cool design. And that is all. So, yeah, they get jumped by Deathstick, who...
like the cover shows us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I love. Yeah. Dengar's eyes.
His face is just so messed up.
Man is afraid. So they get in a fight. Deathstick's kicking their butts. Valence says Dank Ferric gets thrown through a window. It's all fun and games. Dengar's gets beaten up, but apparently, which I guess we'll see what happens. She's probably being called to, was it Jakara? Is it called? Right? That's the name of the planet where they are, where the Vermilion is, to go help with Kira, because she got a emergency communication and had to leave midway through the fight. And Dengar lifted off the invitation, so they know where to go, and off they go. And it says next Boba Fett, and the cover is Boba Fett coming at them right outside the Vermilion. So I bet they try to show up, and Boba Fett stops them. So
you get a sense of like how Dengar gets the job done. It's not necessarily pretty. It may look like he's getting his butt whooped all the time, or a complete idiot. But in the end, he lifted the invitation off her, or and he must be at least a semi decent bounty hunter. I mean,
It's dogged
Vader-
perseverance.
yeah, I mean, like Vader's not going to hire him for a
Oh,
very.
no, we know he
important
is.
job.
I mean, he's pretty good in Aftermath, to my recollection.
Oh yeah.
He does some stuff there. He's able to hold his own against what is it, Mercurial Swift? I think it's
Oh
like his
God,
Yes.
that guy.
his
Holy
pseudo
dude.
ward.
Wow,
Yeah.
you're sending me back. I
Yeah.
haven't read Aftermath in years.
we were just talking about that after
Yeah, we were.
earlier.
We're all better forgetting about Aftermath.
No,
I love the
it's
Aftermath
there.
trilogy. Even if
Lots
you
of
don't like
lore.
even if you don't like the way it was written, oh, it's so jam packed and juicy. Like it's
It
so
has
good.
some good stuff in it. Just
It's got some pretty bad stuff in it too.
The bad stuff, this is not
Hey,
as bad
I
as
got
the
my
good stuff is
race
good.
clone right here.
There you
like
go.
I very much love a lot of the aspects. I love Nora Wexley. I love so many of the characters, but then
Mr.
there's
Bones.
just like Gallius Rax and the terrible
like
idea that
Gallius Rax.
was.
I like Gallius Rax. Why is
Yeah,
everybody
Gallius
For
Rax is
5 seconds.
Oh yeah, and
Ah.
Cobb Vanth. AJ screaming in the private chat. Cobb Vanth.
Well, you know what? Any
It did-
character that grows out of that.
it did give us these sad Gungan
Sad Jar
hours.
Jar.
Yeah,
Sad Gungan hours
Ooh,
of Jar Jar
sad
things.
alley clown.
yeah.
That was
Hey,
I
in the
like
end,
that.
in the end, he brings joy to children,
Children.
and
yeah,
that's not the worst fate for anyone, really.
meta
No.
commentary.
It was
I do
weird,
actually, yeah. I really like that that part, that ending for Jar Jar, if you will.
Like I said, there's some good stuff in it. Just all right, we'll fall down an aftermath hole.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it's a
we're-
book
hole of
club. It's a
aftermath
book
to be
club.
bad.
That's a book. We can talk about this
It's
book,
true.
This is true.
It's
This is true. We are
is
here
a
to talk
book.
about the ancillary media.
which I am
outside
excited,
of
hopefully, to get a
comics.
comic series, ongoing comic run, once this one is done, the Return of the Jedi era done, set during the Aftermath era, following our main characters.
Yeah, I mean
'cause
that would be.
I would
You would
love
think
that.
that would be the.
That is
The
years
eventual-
away, though.
I would
no,
love-
I don't think
I
so
don't think
because
if it ain't next year. I think it could start like the end of next year. I can
Right,
see
because
that.
They'd
the
have
time-
to do immediate Return of the Jedi stuff and dance around the content that they've already done, like Shattered Empire. And then that's still like
I don't think it would be that hard because, the first Star Wars run,
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr.
Bones.
Bones. Mr. Bones.
the first Star Wars one, which might I add should have ended when Kieran Gillen stopped writing for it. That's just my personal opinion. Those
What-
last,
Which
but
one
last,
did he stop writing?
he stopped after the show Torrin thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I loved the
man.
ending to that arc.
Trios.
I thought it was a great arc where the last shot is the three main heroes walking onto the Falcon, and they're like, "We're friends, guys," and like we're off to find our home. And Hoth is one of them. But then there's like 2 extra arcs, which
Yeah.
are like okay.
Yeah. But
Whatever,
the flip
that's-
side of that is that the way that Afra tied up before ESB happens is just, it's perfect. It's absolutely
Either
perfect.
way. All those runs took place in between a 3-year time period.
3-year time period.
And
right.
this is only like 6 months to 1 year.
it's about a year. They've
It's
said
about a
so-
year. Yeah.
And,
I
and I
guess.
mean, like judging by the progress that Luke has made Jediing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's like a real badass now, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not
And
supposed
Charles
to swear.
You can say ass.
And Charles Soules teased recently on his Twitter that the second we're done with War of the Bounty Hunters, which is October, the Star Wars run is getting back to like Luke progressing on the Jedi journey.
Mm.
And so by the middle of next year, I feel like we could be in green lightsaber Luke territory where we're just there.
Right.
And
Well, yeah,
then-
we've got all those planets that R2 has in his database
well,
for Luke
that's
to
like
go and visit.
that's for like sequel stuff.
Yeah.
I gotta
See,
say though,
I don't
I was
think
a little
so. I
annoyed
think-
about that though, because like
2
did R-
years, yeah.
did R2 just
3
like
years, yeah.
neglected to mention he had that list for like 3 years?
He was
No,
sleeping.
that's how long he's been waiting to get C-3PO to translate for him.
I guess that's true.
Well, I just don't think it was ever relevant because what
Yeah.
happened because Luke is like deep in the Jedi stuff now, where
Right.
before, like
It's true.
it was a little bit there, but now after the whole confrontation with Vader, and he's like, I gotta find myself, and he's going to these temples, and R2
Yeah.
was with him to the temple, and I don't that to me that screamed like that is what he's doing, in the time like when he's getting Grogu, like he's going to all these planets,
Yeah.
searching for all the Force lore stuff.
Well,
like that,
I think it's actually a really great opportunity to show how he builds his green lightsaber. That this
I
is
don't know. Are
information
they
that
gonna-
he learns at these temples.
Don't we
I
have?
think that's
I feel like
think
we have a
information-
canon thing for when he
So-
builds his green lightsaber.
So
Somewhere.
no, because it's the deleted
Isn't that
scene.
just like a little book? Okay,
That's
yeah.
fine.
News, Mac.
that'll come back.
Yeah, so it's a deleted scene from Return of the Jedi that
He's
and
finished
the
it, but
and
it's
the
not canon.
novelization, etc. talks about how the plans and everything were in Obi-Wan's hut.
Journal.
The
Yeah.
crystal, the
Yeah.
parts, everything comes from Obi-Wan, and the journals of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which also include the plans for the lightsaber. But so as far as we know, that's where he learns how to build it. Now,
However-
the interesting
Oh,
part will
God.
be, how does he lose the gold one? How
Yeah.
does he lose the Jedi Temple Guard saber he's got right now?
It's
All right,
pretty
I think
sweet.
we should get back on track before we go too
I do
far
want to say
off.
though, he gets it because there's a comic. His Age of Rebellion comic is set before Return of the Jedi, and he has the green.
That's
Yes,
true.
That's
a
true.
good point. And we also need
Right.
the prequel comic to Shattered Empire where Luke hits his head and forgets about Charbet. So we need that at some point. It's just kind of clear.
Oh
things
yeah.
up.
I never even put that
more
together.
Charbet.
Yeah, dude.
I need more Evan
It's funny.
Verlaine. Like
okay.
they introduced so many great characters that
I
just like
promptly forgot
faded
about
away.
Well, I don't think he's really interacted with her that much.
I mean, he's met her in
Yeah,
this current
but,
run,
like,
and then
you know,
in Shattered Empire, he's like, "What's your name?" Hi.
Well, he's
I'm
like, busy being a Jedi. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay, all right. So let's talk about Zuckuss and
War
4-LOM.
of
Yeah,
the
let's
Bounty
do it.
4-LOM and
Hunters.
Zuckuss.
4-LOM and Zuckuss, written by Daniel Jose Older, the comedian of Star Wars.
He is.
And so it starts with a Jawa finding Zuckuss's head that was thrown off by Boba in War of the Bounty Hunters issue 1. And then in Wormstew Town, on Nar Shaddaa, a injured Gand Zuckuss falls to the ground, collapsing into Jega's music hall and petting zoo, which is run by a Lerman, it seems.
Yeah, I know.
Very
Look at
funny.
him with an
I haven't
eye
seen
patch.
one of them in a while, huh?
Yeah,
A
I was
Lerman
like,
with an eye
He's
patch.
a
we haven't-
pirate Lerman.
Do you think he has a Scottish accent? Do you think?
yes.
God, I hope so.
I
Well,
bet he does.
they all do.
So, and maybe just correct me if I'm wrong. So the Lerman, at least the ones that we met first, right in the Clone Wars, they were like a very pacifistic people. Like,
Except for
right?
that one kid.
Yeah, Wag 2.
Yeah, and this guy is bloodthirsty.
That was
Maybe he was cast out.
Maybe
He's got a really deep
Wasn't that
secret.
weren't those like colonists?
maybe they were like a
Lerman?
colony, like
I thought they were like
Oh, yeah.
peaceful commune of like.
They're religious extremists that were cast out of their home world.
Anyway, all I care is that we see the back of what I'm considering
Yes,
to
I
be
was about to
Opipit
say.
in this.
It could be.
and in my canon, this is Opipit.
It's a Fragosian, so it could be Opipet. Opipit.
Yeah, I love this though.
I think it is.
And he's like, then 4-LOM or Zuckuss rather he starts to go through his woes, and and the way this is written, because it's hard to just talk about, but I just find this to be so funny. This entire issue, I just thought was hilarious. I just thought it was funny. So then he starts to explain everything, and you get a flashback with Devil Lompop and a Doug, who I thought that the Doug saying probably wasn't too hard because he's small. Small britches, and he goes, "Wow, tough crowd."
Yeah,
I
right.
I was like, that's funny. I mean, I want you to hear your guys' thoughts on this first couple
No,
pages.
honestly, I'm not a tough crowd, so I laughed.
Yeah.
Quite a bit while I was reading this. Plenty of funny twists and turns, as we'll discuss later on.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not sure. I don't have it in front of me. The artist, the penciler for this, like really sets the tone with the heads and then the speech bubbles, like in frame. Like you'll see them talking and conversing with one another while the story's going on, and then going back and forth with one another in the frames, and that just really like set the tone for the issue for me. I'm like, oh
Yeah. Yeah, like
I get how this is gonna go now.
The dialogue boxes with the little like cartoony faces
Yes,
about like who's
exactly.
talking and
It was like
what,
watching Teen
narrating.
Titans Go.
Yeah, I see that. I like Devil Lompop in this, or Diva Lompop, however you pronounce it, for like a split second. But I love the little cameo.
Yeah, it felt like a proper cameo. I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
And it's a weird thing to say, but something about it, I'm just like, even though she's only been in one issue so far, I love this character and the way she appears here. I was like, yeah, you know what, this is Deva, and I like it.
Yeah.
I'm digging it.
It's a nice little nod to the fact that she's been running these types of ops.
Yeah, exactly. You know, she has a history, so now it's time for us to see that history, because she's like dropped in and she's been around for at least 200 years. It's time to see what
A
she's
while.
up to. Yeah.
So they're assigned. He's explaining how Zuckuss and 4-LOM met, and he is describing the job, which is where Deva comes in. She gave him the job. They are hunting down the warlord and droid mechanic, Dr. Kribrizi Idolax.
Yep.
I believe it's an extremely complicated name.
Cribberiz Idolax.
Kribriz Idolax. And they got to go hunt him, and he has like a Power Rangers-esque droid team.
Yeah.
Beefy droids that protect him. And yeah, there you go. Which I, for one, this is a total aside. Once again, book club, so it counts. I want to see the L3 assault team from Last Shot return. I love those guys.
Ooh, yes.
Those guys are so funny, and I would love to see them in like the sequel era, just like being lawmakers, like sort of like a Tampozla type, from like the Alpha Run. Or he's just like like this weird, funny lawmaker kind of guy, but it's L3's assault team. It's very funny, and go read Last Shot, great book, funny thing there. So then we cut back to Tatooine, and you've got this Quinlan
and Daniel Jose older theme.
yeah,
Last Shot. So.
And you have this like shirtless man on a dewback.
It's funny you said Quinlan, because to me he was very Quinlan Voss-esque.
Yeah, I was looking for the face tattoo. I was like, is it? But no.
Who the hell is this guy? He's way too interesting to be like some rando.
He's Quinlan Voss's brother.
There you go.
Maybe
Quinlan Voss is nicer. Quinlan Voss. There you go.
Yeah, but Matt, to your point, like when he got on panel, I was like, am I supposed to know who this is?
Yeah, right.
Like I really felt like it was almost distracting. Actually, one of the things that I almost didn't like about it was that like he seemed so important. And for someone who like tries to have an encyclopedic knowledge of Star Wars, when you can't find something like that, you can't remember it, it drives you nuts. It nags at you.
I did like though the self-contained nature of the goofballery. The reveal later where it's like this guy's just connected to the doctor, and it's like, and it was we'll get there, but the reveal where I was like, oh.
Dude, he's got like a pimped out dewback too.
Yeah,
he does. These horns, dewback horns.
Dewback horns, got like the cuffs and the tail jewels, and
it's pretty sweet.
This guy, I'm calling it now. This guy's going to appear somewhere else. This guy's going to pop up. He's way too interesting. He does not
feel like a throwaway.
For them to have spent so much time making this guy as interesting as possible, to just use him in like
this guy being a Ramson. He gets the bold italicized name drop.
Yeah. So we're going to see him again.
Maybe Ramson will come back, but we cut back from that because Ramson picks up Zuckuss' head from the Jawa.
Yeah.
Cut back to Nar Shaddaa. I love that Zuckuss is like, anyway. Then just the way Zuckuss is written, he's this weird, lovable rogue. I've never enjoyed Zuckuss more than in this issue.
Yeah.
And then the little Lerman man, Wega is. So there's a chagrin female. I don't remember her name right now. I'll learn it. Which clearly Darth Weirlock's ancestor.
Yeah.
And then kind of looks like his kid or his next Weirlock, but whatever. That's a deep cut. Who cares? She's being harassed. And she punches some fools, and he's like, "I want to chop off some arms" because he's nuts. And then at the same time, Zuckuss, I'm bringing it up because Zuckuss is just sitting, staring at his hands, going, "Partnership, teamwork." Like he's just he's watching them work together to beat these guys up, and he's just like, look at his head down in the bottom frame. Zuckuss remembers what it was like having a partner. Like depressed Zuckuss is so funny to me while these people beat up these goons. What do you guys think?
No, I agree like 100%. While he's watching these people work together, he's like, I used to have that. I'm sad. I'm lonely. Like, yeah, sad ball Zuckuss.
Sad sack Zuckuss.
Sad sack Zuckuss.
Definitely.
Maybe that's why he's got the beer gut. He's been hitting.
That's his sack.
He's been hitting the spotchka.
Yeah. That's right, spotchka too hard after 4-LOM. I do want to point out one thing: is this guy one of the two guys? Obviously, one of them is an Ithorian. The other guy, that's a what's Cookie Tugs?
What that is?
That's a Cookie Tugs, isn't it? What's his name?
The chef from Force Awakens.
Yeah. What's his?
And I have no idea. You're the species guy.
It's like Canada's race.
No.
No.
Grand Ada's race is a.
Hold on, I'm looking.
Don't
Those are Dawutans.
Dawutans, that's it. No, this
Yeah.
is like an Artyadak?
Ah, yes.
Oh yeah.
That's where people. This is where people tune out.
Yes.
It was just like, wait, what?
They go, the Artyadak.
I swear to God.
The Dawutans are pretty cool, you know.
No,
Dawutans
these
great.
like Pong Krell's race.
No, that's Basilisk.
Basilisk.
Am I looking at the wrong guy?
Yes, you
Oh,
are.
okay.
It's one of the thugs they beat up. Yes, it is an Artyadak. Appearances: War of the Bounty Hunters, 4-LOM and
Good for you.
Zuckuss.
That was a. I mean,
yeah.
you all that studying of the sequel Aliens.
Ah, that took a lot of brain power. I think I'm done.
Yeah, that was a hell of a contribution.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, and look in the panel where the
Oh, look, the Mando, the Mythosaur flag. Yeah, look at that.
the Chagrian, how I say it, Chagrian.
Chagrin, yeah.
When she's headbutting Strono Cookie Tugs in the corner, there's a Kasurian
Little Estella Maru over there.
in the back. Yeah, like an Estella Maru's great granddaughter.
Yeah.
Also,
they've been in everything these days.
yeah, dude, they're pumping.
They
those guys out.
just can't stop showing up.
Which is, I don't blame them. It's like one of my favorite designs
It's a great
for the
design.
sequel Aliens.
It's a great
Absolutely.
design. I was pointing out though, that looks like the Canadian Mythosaur flag in the corner behind the Authority.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's awesome.
I did appreciate the because I'd just been reading the High Republic Adventure comics, and we had Cham Cham.
Yeah, the little bat
tiny
thing.
bat. But
Yeah.
right at the beginning of this issue, we also had a
Thank
tiny
you.
bat. Yeah,
Thank you. That's who I was going
that's
to be like,
species, yeah.
I was
Oh, yeah,
thinking,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
is that
yeah.
a bomb brack? And I was like, wait, no, that's not a bomb brack. But
No.
I've seen that in relation to the High Republic. Thank you. That's
Yep.
a Cham Cham, whatever.
Which
whatever
makes
Cham Cham
sense.
is.
Daniel Jose Older wrote.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I love that panel of Yoda just Picard palming his face, his head. He's like, oh, Cham Cham.
Oh, that's, dude. High Republic Adventures is great. We
We
could
come
do like a whole
We come back
episode
to
on
that.
that.
All right.
Yeah, of
We
course.
come back. We come back to Zuckuss, and there's a funny thing where the droids are like, "No, you can't show up. The doctor doesn't see," and he jerks without an appointment. And then you hear like muffled noises behind him, and Zuckuss goes, "Huh?" And he goes, "I said duck." And then they just start blasting. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the communication was there, but I love it.
Yeah.
And they just start blasting. It's
And
like,
then you
Anyway,
watch
so
sort of the
blast.
teamwork build as like,
Bugman.
Zuckuss like senses that guy's coming down the corridor for like a minute, and then you hear him like running along the floor, and then just blasts him in half.
And
basically.
Zuckuss says, ironic because Dr. Zero Briz himself is a random bug jerk. And I was like, what a great line.
A random bug jerk. That's
I'm like,
so
I was
good.
like, what a great Star Wars line. And then they just become the best of buds, and instantly I was like, okay, yeah, Star Wars is just in between this and then Valence and Dengar. I was like, yeah, Star Wars is just buddy cop now. It's just buddy cop action.
That's fine with me. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, I'm
Give me
good.
more.
And then so we'll get to it later, but the way this is framed now is even funnier to me. They stop and they wait around the door, and you see the little silhouetted frame of this little bug man walking down the hallway.
Clackety, clackety, clackety.
And they just turn and blow him away.
Completely.
They just annihilate this guy, and they're like, "All right, job
And then they're
done."
just standing there, and he's just like two halves of him, and just like,
yeah,
Mission accomplished.
yep,
accomplished.
good for us. We did this.
Very funny. And so then we come back to Tatooine, and Ramson hands the head of Zuckuss to the guy they just killed, the doctor, and you're like, "What?"
You're like, wait a minute.
And then you quickly cut back, and then 4-LOM is returned in the present day as like a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, he's literally like a spider.
It's insane.
And
4-LOM.
he says his famous catchphrase, "Hergreer." Oh,
Yes.
4-LOM, classic 4-LOM. Am I right, guys?
Classic. So what do you guys think of? What did you guys think of of what we just covered there?
I love the team. You didn't mention the team.
We're not at the team yet. The team's next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was a great flashback scene. I loved it, and then I like the sort of almost monster of the week reappearance of 4-LOM in with his gigantic spider robot body.
Giant mech body. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love.
I
No,
I
you go
liked that when we see that the scientist, the droid guy, is alive. I was like, yeah, everybody who gets bisected in Star Wars can be brought back. If Maul could do it, anybody could do it.
Well, I mean, like because these guys, they're Coolacetos, which is another sequel alien. But we don't know anything about these guys.
Yeah.
They could be like
Pigs grow back. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You cut them in half, and they like
Exactly.
sprout legs, and then another one like sprouts a head, and they both walk away and do their own thing. Like
He
you
He
don't
was
know.
twins.
described as a warlord and evil robot genius.
Yeah,
So it was like, oh, maybe he evil robot geniused himself.
yeah,
So, yes.
exactly.
So he gets delivered 4-LOM's head in the desert of Tatooine. He reprograms it to be this, as we mentioned, the giant villain, Spider-Man villain, for one purpose: to kill Zuckuss. And Zuckuss. And
Well-
Zuckuss gets depressed. Zuckuss goes, 4-LOM, at long last. Zuckuss was concerned, and oh my, it seems you've gotten an upgrade. And then Zuckuss must die, and Zuckuss gets all sad.
That's the name of the episode, or the name of
Zuckuss
the
gets all sad.
comic.
That's really
Zuckuss
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 gets all sad.
Zuckuss gets all sad.
Zuckuss gets all
By
sad.
Daniel Jose Olds.
And so, yeah, then the squad shows up, as you mentioned. Jaga's squad. So I
Dude.
believe Jaga is the little... I think Jaga's the... I don't know if Jaga's the Lerman. Anyway, so they show up, and it's a bunch of people with 4 arms, and it's pretty
Yep.
funny.
Except for the Shagrian.
Except for the Shag. Yeah, what you said. I'm not going to mess it. And it's very funny, because Zuckuss just gets so depressed that he just accepts death. And
Yep.
and this panel where Zuckuss says Zuckuss must make peace with the emptiness that awaits. A
Yes.
Klansman cannot destroy his only friend. And I was like, oh no, it's
What
so sad.
happened? Dude, what happened?
Look at squinting Zuckuss. He looks so sad.
Dude, if this is what it must be. Like, holy crap. Zuckuss must die slowly, and then he's just like, that's what you gotta do. I'm not
Gotta
gonna
do,
kill
man.
you. Like,
My
that's
only
so...
friend.
Dude, so I never thought you could make me feel so many emotions about Zuckuss. Zuckuss!
Zuckuss. Yeah, this is like joke background character Bugman Zuckuss from
Bugman Zuckuss.
1980 film Empire Strikes Back, and here he is.
And we're sitting there like, oh my god, dude.
I feel for him.
I cannot believe this.
And so the team, the 4-arm team, helps defeat Zuckuss, and Zuckuss is, he's getting his rage out. He's punching down. He's going, "No, my friend, I have to kill you." And he goes, "Oh, can it be?" And grabs his head, and it's like, "No, the doctor is alive." And he rounds the corner, and the Bug Man is waiting in an alley, a dead end alley, in a little rag,
He's just
alone.
back
And
fiend.
he goes,
He's
"Yeah,
gonna
I feel
watch."
like I've seen a ghost." Yeah, back fiend. Like,
Dude, what was his plan? He's just hiding in an alley around the corner with a remote
Like
control.
huddled in a pile of trash with a
little
remote control.
Zuckuss,
Like-
Zuckuss says,
Any good comic book villain, he was just convinced that his plan couldn't possibly fail, and he had
That's
to
true.
watch it right there.
and Zuckuss says, "Zuckuss is absolutely sure we murdered you." And I was like, this is just so funny. Like, this is so funny. And the doctor says, "No, you insolent maggot. That was my brother, Sir Brizzy."
God.
And I was like, what is happening? Like, I
Here
love
comes
this.
the
Like,
twist.
Here's the twist.
Mama Zoos, so I assume that's their mother, always said
Yep.
we favored each other. So I guess they have some sort of brood thing. And this is literally like this is like a Speed Racer villain from the 60s anime. "No, you insolent maggot. That was my brother, my only true friend, the philanthropist." He goes, always out for the good of others. And I'm like, what? And so they reveal that the guy that Zuckuss and 4-LOM gunned down was this guy's like saintly brother who he hated what this guy become. He, end quote, he came to see me to say he couldn't abide by my violent lifestyle anymore. He was going to turn me into the authorities. And he rounds the corner, just gets blasted. And Zuckuss's little like thought bubbles here is Zuckuss did not know this. No. And then Zuckuss, in response to him getting turned, and goes, "Certainly his prerogative." But then as soon as he's like turning against him, he goes, "What? Unacceptable." And then
I love, I was convinced. I went after him to tell him I would change my ways, and then he just goes, "Oh dear." And like the little face.
I was convinced. I didn't even put that together. This guy was he was saved. The guy got redeemed.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
That's
done.
even funnier.
out.
I was convinced. I went to go after him. And he's sitting there, and the panel, he's sitting there crying in the dark corner with his brother's dead body, murdered by the bug men. And
meanwhile, Zuckuss is channeling his best what Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Like, oh dear.
How do you not like? This is just so funny.
That's
It's
so
just-
good.
It's just so amazing. And so the guy is like, oh, the doctor says, all I want to do is honor my brother's, what I imagine my brother's dying wish to be, not his actual brother's dying wish.
Yeah, this is what
And
he
by
imagined.
killing
right.
Zuckuss and 4-LOM. And Zuckuss, let me just deliver this line. Zuckuss is deeply moved by the connection between you and your sadly deceased brother. It reminds Zuckuss of the connection shared between Zuckuss and 4-LOM, which is why, to turn page, Zuckuss must destroy you again. Blast the guy. Kills him.
Just straight up.
I was losing it. I was like, this is so funny. So what do you guys think of what
That,
it's
dude,
great, right? It's just great. It's the
it's
most
so
amazing
good.
thing.
It's absolute. Like,
I was convinced. I didn't put together that he was convinced. Oh my god. Oh, it's so funny.
It's very DJO. Like, this is.
It's just this is like the funniest Star Wars thing that I've read in a long time.
And I absolutely love all to honor what I imagine my brother's dying wish to be. And of course, that's like the exact opposite of what the saintly philanthropist brother who's like, don't stop doing robot stuff. Yeah. As he's dying, he's like, actually, I want you to take this guy's head and put it on a spider body and avenge my death. Like,
I want you to become even more of a cartoon supervillain.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
To get revenge on the people who murdered me.
Yep.
It's so funny. And so then Zuckuss breaks the spell over 4-LOM, but 4-LOM also gets depressed and leaves. And so then Zuckuss becomes depressed. And then there's a fist bump, a double fist bump between this basilisk and this other species who I'm not familiar with.
I was going to ask you if you knew the species.
And then the issue ends, and that's it.
He just goes alone.
He goes
Everybody's happy
alone.
around him, and he's just depressed and alone.
So yeah, the events of the last issue where Zuckuss has become Fat Thor from Endgame is after this, and that's why he is all depressed.
He goes to wherever, was it like some sort of retreat?
Yeah, the Gand. It's like a Gand
space
retreat. Yeah. And so then the next issue is Bausch, which I'm excited to see because the story of how Leia gets Bausch's armor was depicted in a Galaxy of Adventures, I believe, or no, Forces of Destiny.
Forces of Destiny.
Forces of
I
Destiny.
always get those confused.
And then there's a one shot where it's after the fact and she's wearing it.
Yep.
And I think it's hers, right? It's Leia one shot.
Yep.
For Rebellion, and that's what we have right now on how she has the armor.
But we don't know much about Bausch.
We don't know.
At all.
We don't know about Bausch at all. So I'm excited to see how this ties in and how. I believe she gets them on Ord Mantell. I believe it's like her and Maz Kanata are on Ord Mantell.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so maybe we get that depicted in comic form at the very end.
But
either way, I'm excited to learn more about Bausch. So
it's funny you guys keep saying Bausch. I call him Boosh.
I used to say Boosh.
I've always said Bausch.
Pronounced Boosh, guys.
Boosh, thank you.
Producer AJ
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Actually.
It's funny. Jamie at the beginning goes, I don't know where AJ is, but I've been here all along in the shadows.
Oh, no. Watching all this time.
Yeah, yelling about Cobb
Watching all
Vanth.
this time.
Yeah.
Yelling about Cobb Vanth, yes. And Mr.
Somehow
Bounds.
AJ, what do you think of the issues especially from her telling? It's the bug thing is just so funny to me.
No, dude, that is legitimately hilarious. Like, just perfectly executed and very DJO. Like, totally.
Well, they're
exactly what
weaving
you would
a
do.
number of different like storytelling styles into this, bounty hunter series. Like, and it is actually fitting together pretty well. Like, there's only a couple of outliers like that don't maybe feel like they fit quite as well, but I would say for the most part that it does feel like it's weaving together pretty well. And it was interesting because like I didn't read anywhere or see anywhere like they had gotten together as a group and really talked it through. Like, how the Luminous authors for
Like
must
they,
have,
yeah, do with
but-
for High Republic had that whole retreat where they got together and they mapped the whole thing out. And it's like, did they do something similar for this? Obviously
Well, it's
we
a lot
haven't
of the
gotten,
same
like,
authors.
I don't know
It's
if
true,
they took
so
it as
maybe-
seriously, but
Yeah,
Right.
it's true though. It is a lot of the same authors. So
I
maybe
think
that's
this
it.
one was probably more Charles Soule wrote a story, and then all
Yeah.
the other authors confined to that story.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
had fun with it, and they're doing a great job with it. But this one is, I
Right.
think, Charles Soule had an idea for a story, which is War of the Bounty Hunters, because it was announced and is still sort of being led by him, whereas Luminous is much more of a collaboration.
Yeah,
this
agreed.
this is Charles through
Mm.
and through in the main run, and everything else just sort of supports it. So,
Yep.
yeah, there you
All
go. I think that's
Well-
a solid episode of book club we just did right there.
Yeah.
I think so.
Good job, guys. And I made my debut as producer behind the scenes, showing
Yeah.
off picture of the week here.
Oh, picture.
Are you
of the
gonna
week.
are you gonna make your debut as outroing this episode?
Oh, jeez.
I am. That's why I'm.
That's why he's.
That's why I'm here.
That's
So I'll
why-
mirror Jamie's intro, and I'll bring the axe this week. And that is an episode of Book Club, guys. Thanks to obviously Matt and Levi, always here, and our new additions, Scott and Kendra. You know, Scott's our big book guy, and you know Kendra is too. And Kendra works at a comic book shop, so who better to have on? So yeah, we'll see you next week for Book Club.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Outro.